Good morning. How are you today? So I brought with me something. I'm sure you know what it is. Can you tell already? If I can open the bag. What are these? Why would I bring Band-Aids? What do you use Band-Aids for? And what does a Band-Aid really do? If you had a cut on your arm, what would a Band-Aid do? Could it stop dirt from getting in? Yeah, it could cover it. It would protect it, wouldn't it? And if you had any kind of scrape, you know, when you scrape your arm, then you've got to have big Band-Aids to cover the scrape. So today I brought Band-Aids because we're going to talk about somebody who was hurt. Jesus is going to tell a story about a man who was hurt and he was laying by the side of the road. So one man walked by, and he really should have been a man that helped him. But he was afraid, and he crossed the road, and he went on his way. And then another man came who even knew the person who was hurt, and he just didn't want to be involved. But a third person came, and he was even from a different country. And he helped the man. He took him to a place where they could clean him up. You know how mama or daddy kind of washes your cuts and cleans them out. And he made sure he had bandages to take care of himself. And Jesus told this story because he said, God tells us to not only love God, but to love our neighbors. So which of those three men do you think was a neighbor? How come? Yeah, so our neighbors aren't necessary. Do you have people that live next door to you? Right, some of us do. Some of us live out in the country. But our neighbors are even more, all the people who share our earth. They're our neighbors. And Jesus and God told us to make sure that we help our neighbors. Now, sometimes you can have a cut, or you're going to think this is silly, but when my kids were little, we called them boo-boos. Did you call it anything? Some people call them owies. But anyway, some of them you can see. Like, I got a big owie right here. And I don't put a Band-Aid on it now because it's getting better. But I could have put something on it to protect it. Are there any other kind of hurts other than cuts and scrapes and things like that? Oh, like blood coming out, and a Band-Aid would stop that, wouldn't it? What about somebody who breaks an arm or a leg? You can't really give them a Band-Aid, but how could you help them? You could bring them to the hospital. You could help them get in a door or get some crutches or whatever they needed. But sometimes we have hurts inside. And can you see those? Do they hurt just as much sometimes? And so we need to make sure that we ask God to help those hurts that are inside and to help those hurts that others have inside. So today I'm going to give you a Band-Aid, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to go home, and probably a Sharpie works best. When I did it at home, a Sharpie worked best. And I wrote down somebody that was hurting. And I said, God bless Corey, the person who was hurting, and I put the Band-Aid right here. And the reason I did that was every time I saw it, I could say, "Dear God, bless Corey." So talk with mom and dad, and think about somebody who might have a hurt. It might be inside or outside, but somebody that might need a prayer from God. Okay, will you say a prayer with me? I'll even give you 2 of them so that you can take maybe to another person who has a hurt. Dear God, help us to notice people who hurt. Help us to notice when we hurt inside. Help us to pray for those who hurt. Amen.